Hi guys, good afternoon everyone. Welcome back to EEC English-Indonesian translation class, and we will talk about cohesion in translation. So it is a new chapter or new material that I think cohesion is very important in translating. Therefore, we will talk about this material to help us in translating and also to produce a good translated text in Bahasa Indonesia. Okay, first thing first guys, we will learn what cohesion is. So cohesion guys, it involves the relation of meaning. So we need to understand the cohesion in producing a good text. So from a text, there are several sentences and the meaning must be connected to each other from the first part until the final part. So, cohesion involves the relations of meaning which connect different parts of a text. So, cohesion will unite the whole parts of a text. Therefore, the meaning will be clearly understandable and support each other. For example, when we have a text, usually we have the text having more than one sentence, right? And those sentences must have the cohesion in order to build a good and also understandable message. So guys, when we read a passage of English that is more than one sentence in length, we usually have no difficulty in deciding whether it forms a unified whole or a collection of unrelated sentences. Therefore, if the sentence has cohesion, so it will act as a whole, one good text. But if the text has no cohesion, it will just a collection of unrelated sentences. So those sentences will have different main ideas and also they are not supporting each other. Then cohesion will enables us to do this, to understand the text. But how we can make use of this cohesion into producing some good translated text? Okay, let's discuss some types of cohesion. There are several types of cohesion: reference, substitution, ellipsis, and conjunction markers. Okay guys, so in producing a good Bahasa Indonesia text, we have to understand the elements of cohesion too, so that we could produce a good text with a unified whole message. So we're not just translate the sentence by sentence and then just leave it there, just put it into one text. Therefore, we need also to have a cohesion device to make our translated text connect each other and also support the main idea of the sentence. Okay, let's talk about the first type of cohesion. Okay, so in the reference, it means that there are some personal pronoun and also um, reference from the text that refers to something else. Okay, so the examples are him, her, this, these, that, there, here, those, and then them. And okay, so the reference commonly used in personal pronoun form, and it actually refers to something else in a text. It can be a concept in the previous sentence or in the next sentence. So guys, we need to take this reference to understand the meaning of the text. However, in a text, some of the references are clear, but it is not rarely also to find an ambiguous reference. Okay, let's take a look at the example. We have several sentences here. Some students find it difficult to do examinations because they do not know how to begin. Alright, do you spot the reference there in the first sentence? Alright, so we have the word they, and it refers to, yes, some students. So they is the reference of some students. And as some students is a plural noun, so we correspond it by using they. Alright, so it means that this sentence has a cohesion. And then we have the sentence also, the second one. This is a difficult problem to solve, however. This, okay, so this one is as an example of ambiguous reference. So what is this? We don't know the exact reference for this, and it is often found in a text, and then we have to what is it like we have to think about it and understand what does this mean. Okay, so actually this word doesn't have a like precise reference, but from the context, from understanding the first sentence, we know that this means how to begin, right? So we understand that how to begin, yeah, how students begin, yeah, is a difficult problem to solve, however. So what the difficult problem to solve is uh, whether the students do not know how to begin. So do not know how to begin to learn for the examination. And this one requires us to think about the context from the text, right? Yeah, so it means that not all reference is clearly stated, so that we have to understand the meaning from the context by looking at the other sentences. And then another thing, here is one way of doing it. So here is one way of doing it is actually an inversion structure of a sentence. The regular one is one way of doing it is here. So it's like an inverted one. So the complement is put in the beginning of the sentence to make an emphasis. Therefore, guys, in translating these, yeah, we cannot say it like ini adalah masalah yang sulit untuk diselesaikan. So, actually, if we use ini adalah masalah, yeah, so we have to make our text in Bahasa Indonesia also clear and don't make the readers confused. As if we read this, ini adalah, so we don't know what is ini. So guys, you can put another noun instead of using only ini to translate this. For example, fenomena ini adalah masalah yang umum ditemukan. Or kesulitan ini menjadi momok or something like that. So you have to revise it and just make it as clear as possible. So never use ini as a what is it like subject in the sentence. Ini adalah hal yang umum. So what is ini? So it's kind of unclear. And we cannot also translate here as di sini. Di sini adalah salah satu cara untuk melakukannya. So what is here? So perhaps you could just leave the here in this sentence and use the more appropriate way to say. Like what is it like? Beberapa cara yang dapat dilakukan adalah sebagai berikut. Or usually in Bahasa Indonesia we can also make it inverted like berikut adalah cara untuk menyelesaikan masalah tersebut. So we can just use masalah tersebut as we have stated the problem in the previous sentence. So guys, if you use the word tersebut, make sure that you have already explained what the concept is in the previous sentence. Alright, yeah, so don't just translate this and here as it is. Alright, okay. And then the other examples, guys. I took a taxi to the concert. It was most enjoyable. Alright, so we have the reference it, but I'm wondering what it refers to. So what do you think, guys? Does it refer to a taxi or the concert? Yeah, they are ambiguous. Alright, and so this one is the example of the ambiguous reference. And then the other one, I told him he had used the wrong procedure. This is how it should be done. First, you fill in the appropriate form. So this one is actually similar to this problem. So we have to make it specify in bahasa Indonesia that what is this? Ini tuh apa? Ya, masalah ini atau cara ini, cara tersebut. Ya. So just don't use only ini, right? Okay. So let's continue with the next type of cohesion. We have substitution. So substitution, it is shown from the name of the strategy. It is a replacement of one item by another, and the function is to abbreviate or to avoid repetition. Alright, guys, in producing a good text, we have to also avoid repetition, as it will make our text monotonous and then kind of boring, as we just repeat a term over and over again. We have to do the variation, or perhaps we could use this strategy also, substitution. And we need to understand this also. The example, you guys, I shot the hippopotamus with bullets made of platinum. If I use lead-on once, his height is sure to flatten them. Alright, guys. So the substitution is the word once. So do you know one? What does this word substitute? So once is actually substituting the word bullets. It means that it's actually the complete one. If I use leaden bullets, okay, his height is sure to flatten the bullets. Therefore, guys, we can just use the substitution, yeah, to substitute the repeated word. So instead of repeating the word bullets, we can just use once and them. But make sure that it has a clear reference like in the first example. Okay, so once actually it refers to the bullets and this one then is also. Alright, and the other example, yeah guys. So actually substitution is closely related to reference, as we also use reference to substitute the repeated words. But it can be done also in another way, not only using the reference, but we can just cut a part of the sentence. For example, I thought she wouldn't phone, but she did. Aku pikir dia tidak akan menelpon, tapi dia melakukannya. So did here is actually substituting the word phoned. I thought she wouldn't phone, but she phoned. So did is actually phoned, right? She did phone me. So guys, jadi in bahasa Indonesia you can use this strategy also, yeah, to avoid the repetition. And then The next example, she prefers to stay in on Sunday and I do too. The verb to here is a substitution of the verb stay in. Or, oh no, it's the verb prefer. Prefer to stay in, right? So it means that I also prefer to stay in on Sunday too. As we have a similar ideas, right? As stated. Therefore, we could use the substitution to make it shorter and then to make it less boring. Usually in Bahasa Indonesia, we use the word-nya like this. Dia memilih untuk tinggal di hari Minggu. Dan aku juga. Dan aku melakukannya juga. So usually the word-nya. To refer that, we also have the same idea with the previous concept like this. And then the last example, he thinks Bali is very beautiful. I think so. So here is actually substitution of this. He thinks Bali is very beautiful, and I think Bali is very beautiful. So we have the same idea too. So guys, we have several kinds of substitution. So why we are required to understand this substitution so that we could get the whole meaning of the sentences. So yeah, we can just make another variation of the sentence in Bahasa Indonesia instead of translating only like aku pikir juga, juga apa, ya. So perhaps if we want to make it clear, we can just translate I think so into aku mempunyai pendapat yang sama. Aku pikir juga. So don't just use literal meaning to translate the cohesive device. So this one is a substitution, and from this we know that they are expressing the same things. Okay. So let's continue with the next cohesive device. Yeah, the third one is ellipsis. Ellipsis is quite different with the other previous device. It is the omission or deletion of repetitious and unnecessary words. It can occur in a noun phrase. For example, we want fried fish, but they gave us boiled. Okay, so it will be a problem in translating this if we don't really take this cohesive device seriously, right? As this cohesive device will help us to understand the whole meaning of the sentence. Actually, the noun phrase boiled here, the complete one is boiled fish. So we can translate it into kita pengen ikan goreng. Tapi restorannya memberikan ikan rebus, ya. So we cannot just translate boiled into mereka memberikan rebus. So what is being boiled, ya? So we have to understand the context. And then also verb phrases. I caught the train and my brother the bus. So here the verb is caught, omitted. The complete one is I caught the train and my brother caught the bus. Aku naik kereta dan kakakku bis. So in Bahasa Indonesia it sounds ridiculous if we just translate it literally. Aku naik kereta, tapi kakakku naik bis. So it sounds more natural, right? Okay. Yeah. Actually, the cohesive device in English and Bahasa Indonesia is a bit different. So my suggestion is you can state the complete concept or ideas in Bahasa Indonesia as long as it is not too long and not repetitious. And the other, The clauses, a great need in some countries is for more hospitals and in other countries doctors. Okay, so it means that in the second clause, in another countries doctors means a great need in other countries is for more doctors. So doctors here, yeah, replacing this hospital. Okay, or we can translate into kebutuhan yang sangat mendesak di beberapa negara adalah lebih banyak rumah sakit, dan di beberapa negara lainnya adalah lebih banyak dokter atau lebih banyak jumlah dokter. As we only translate, dan di beberapa negara lain dokter. So what is it? Yeah. Okay. And then the next example, let's do this. She said goodbye to her parents and caught the first bus out of the town. So it is also an example of ellipsis that it omit. Do you know which part is omitted? Yeah, the subject. As the subject is the same, so we can just only state first in the first clause. So the complete one would be, she said goodbye to her parents and she caught the first bus out of the town. Ya, dia mengucapkan selamat tinggal ke orang tuanya dan naik bis keluar kota. Bis pertama keluar kota. Okay, and then the next example. Alice will interview some candidates this morning and John in the afternoon. So this one is also the same, yeah, guys. In the afternoon means that John will interview some candidates in the afternoon. So only different in terms of time, right? And then the last example, she said that her informant had revealed the name but would say no more. Okay. So no more means would say no name, not no more name. Okay. Okay, good. And then let's continue with the next strategy or cohesive device. We have the conjunction markers. So conjunction markers, it shows the relationship between the different part of a text. Usually it is from one sentence to another sentence. It connects it with the previous sentence, or from one paragraph to another paragraph. They show the writer's intention, so they are useful signs for the reader. So it will show the relation between the sentence and the paragraph. For example, there is the cause and effect relation, contrast, or conditional. And there are some categories of conjunction markers like inclusion and besides. So there is another thing or another concept that also falls under the same classification, or alternative, like the word or alternatively, time or arrangement. So it is used to indicate the orders, subsequently, firstly, next, secondly, thirdly, last. And then explanation, it means that it gives more explanation, like detailed information, like that is to say, I mean. Amplification, to be more specific, therefore, or in Bahasa Indonesia we use like jadi, yeah. And exemplification, yeah, to give example, for example, such as, and then summary or conclusion, yeah, to conclude the previous sentences or paragraph, we have the word to sum up, in short, in summary, in conclusion, yeah. And then there is also cause and effect, like the word use, because, as a result, And then that, since as for is also cause and effect. So that, and then, yeah, and then there's also contrast, like the word but, on the other hand, on the contrary, in contrast. And then the last one can be in the form of exclusion, yeah, to exclude by the word instead or exception. So guys, yeah, that's all the cohesive device that is useful for us to understand the meaning of a text. Yeah, the relation of the meaning in the sentences and also paragraphs. So guys, I will challenge you to do the exercise in identifying the reference in a text. Okay, so I will send the worksheet to our WhatsApp group and please do this, right? And then send it to our Belajar page. All right. Okay, guys, thank you very much for today's session. And I do hope that our discussion today will be beneficial for us in enhancing our translating skills. And I'll see you again next week. Okay, guys, thank you very much.